Hello students, how are you? I hope you all are fit and fine. So dear students, as you all are aware that we are reading chapter 7, Eva's Tries and O Level, written by Pauline Dexter. Okay? So let us continue, but before moving ahead, let us recall what we have read as of now in this lesson. So as we have seen, the main character, the main protagonist of this lesson is Evans, whose full name is Roderick Evans. Evans is a prisoner. Evans is a prisoner who had been jailed in Hexham prison in D wing of Hexham prison, Oxford. Okay, Evans has been jailed in D wing of Hexham prison, Oxford. Okay. Evans expressed his keen desire to obtain certificate for attaining certificate in O-level German exam. The jail authorities made arrangements for night classes. A tutor who had been appointed by jail authorities used to come and teach Evans. So now it is the month of March and Evans had been taking classes from September. So it has become about 6 months since Evans had been taking his classes in O-level German. Now it was the time of conduction of exam. So for the smooth conduct of examination, the governor and the examination and the secretary of examination, they had a telephonic conversation in which it was decided that the examination would be conducted in the cell of Evans in the jail. So all the security arrangements and other arrangements for the smooth conduct of examination was made. Governor did not want to take any risk, so that is why there was a tight security arrangement. It was ensured that they would not give any chance to Evans to escape. They did not want to give him any chance for escaping. So all the security arrangements were made for the same. So now later we have seen in this story, Evans was also famous with Evans the Break because he had already escaped from the prison. He had escaped from the prison 3 times. Thrice he had escaped from the prison, so that is why he was known as Evans the Break. Further, we saw that his German teacher also wished him good luck. 2 officers, one senior officer of D wing, Mr. Jackson, and other newly recruited appointed officer, Mr. Stephens, they were given responsibility for the security. So they were guarded at the prison, the cell where Evans was jailed, in which Evans was kept. So now Evans, he shaved his face. Now razor, scissors, all these things which could be used by Evans to harm anyone were kept away from his cell. Okay, so now page number, we are going to read page number 73 and third paragraph. So everyone open your book at page number 73 and let's begin. And your nail file too. So once again he made a, when Evans asked him if Mr. Jackson has taken out his nail scissors. So at this Jackson replied, not only nail scissors but nail file too, in a sarcastic way, because nail file is used by mostly it is used by women, not by men. So in a sarcastic way he replied that he had taken his nail file too. Look, for a moment Evans' eyes smoldered. Smoldered means burnt. Let me open. Smoldered. So look, for a moment Evans' eyes smoldered, Evans' eyes burnt dangerously, but Jackson was ready for him. Orders of the governor, Evans. So when Evans became angry, at this Evans became angry, then Jackson said it was the order of the governor to take scissors, nail files, all the things out of the cell. Orders of Governor Evans. He leaned forward and leered, his voice dropping to a harsh. Evans leaned forward and he leered. Leered means, saw bitterly. Leered means saw bitterly. So he saw bitterly, his voice dropping to harsh, contemptuous whisper. Contemptuous means hateful. Contemptuous means hateful. Let me write some more words, then I will continue with the explanation. Crisis means trouble. Crisis means trouble. Core means hearty. Hearty. Okay, now look at the lines. Look, for a moment Evans' eyes smoldered, Evans' eyes burnt dangerously, but Jackson was ready for him. Orders of the governor Evans, he said. These were the orders of the governor. He leaned forward and leered. He leaned forward and saw him bitterly. His voice dropping to harsh. His voice becoming harsh, contemptuous, hateful whisper. You want to complain? Evans shrugged his shoulder lightly. Then Jackson asked whether Evans wanted to complain. So at this, Evans shrugged his shoulder lightly. The crisis was over. The trouble was over. You have got half an hour to smarten yourself up, Evans. Further, he said that he had taken half an hour to smarten himself up, Evans, and take that bloody hat off. And further, he said that he should take off his hat. Me, hat, oh. Evans put his right hand lovingly on the top of filthy woolen and smiled sadly. Do you know, Mr. Jackson, it is the only thing that's ever brought me any sorts of good luck in life. Kind of lucky chap, if you know what I mean. And ready, I thought, well, with me exam and all that. So he said when Jackson asked him to remove his hat, his woolen hat, his bobbled hat, he was not ready to remove his hat, and he said that hat was lucky for him, so that is why he did not want to remove that one. Buried somewhere in Jackson was a tiny core of compassion, and Evans knew it. So somewhere Jackson had pity for him, and Evans knew it very well, and he wanted to take advantage of that pittiness. Just this once. Then Shirley Temple. If there was one thing that Jackson genuinely loathed about Evans, it was his long wavy hair and get shaving. So just this once. Then Shirley Temple. He said Shirley Temple, an actress. She was an actress. So his hair was like Shirley Temple. Jackson compared his hair to Shirley Temple, and Jackson did not like Evans' long hair. Okay, so further he asked him to get shaved. Now look at the next page, page number 74. Just this once, then Shirley Temple. If there was one thing that Jackson genuinely loathed about Evans, it was his long, wavy hair. So Jackson called him Shirley Temple. Shirley Temple was a famous actress those days, and she was having long hair. So the only thing which Jackson disliked in Evans, it was his long, wavy hair and get shaving. So he called him that, to get his face shaved. At 8:45, at 8:45, the same morning, the Reverend Stuart McLeary left his bachelor flat in Broad Street, and stepped out briskly towards Carfax. So at 8:45, the same morning, the Reverend Stuart McLeary. Reverend is a respected word which is put before a respected one. Okay. So on the same day, Reverend Stuart McLeary left his bachelor flat. Bachelor flat means a flat in which a bachelor lives, a flat in which only one room, one kitchen, one bedroom is there. where only one person who is unmarried can live. Okay, so he left his bachelor flat in Broad Street and stepped out briskly. Briskly means fast, and stepped out fast towards Carfax. The weatherman reported temperatures considerably below the normal early June, and a long back overcoat and shallow crowned clerical hat provided welcome protection from the steady drizzle which had set in half an hour earlier, and which now spattered the thick lenses of his spectacles. So, and a long black overcoat. He was wearing a long black overcoat, as the weatherman reported the temperature, which was enough below the normal for early June. The temperature was normal that day, and he was wearing a long overcoat, a shallow crowned clerical hat, in order to save himself from the drizzle, from the light rain, we can call it. Okay, he was wearing overcoat and a hat, which had set in half an hour earlier. So he left his flat half an hour earlier, which now spattered and thick lenses on his spectacles. So the hat was covering the drops, covering the spectacles, saving the spectacles from drops, from drizzle. Okay. In his right hand, he was carrying a small brown suitcase. McClary, in his right hand, he was carrying a small brown suitcase, which contained all that he would need for his morning duties. So, as he was going to give Evans exam, as Evans had to take exam, so McClary was having all the things like question paper and other requirements he was having in his suitcase, which he was holding in his hands, which was holding in his right hand. In his right hand, he was carrying a small brown suitcase, which contained all that he would need for his morning duties, including a sealed question paper, so which included a sealed question paper envelope, a yellow invigilation form, and a special authentication card from the examination board, a paper knife, a Bible. He was to speak to the Women's Guild that afternoon on the Book of Ruth, as he had to speak on Book of Ruth. So that is why he was having a copy of a newspaper. Okay. So he was having a knife, a Bible, and a yellow invigilation form, a special authentication. Okay, so these things he were having in his suitcase, which he would need in the examination, and a current copy of the Church Times. He was also having the current copy of the newspaper, the Church Times. So these things he was having when he was going to the prison to conduct the examination of Evans. Now, next paragraph. The 2-hour examination was scheduled to start at 9:15 a.m. So the 2-hour examination was scheduled at 9:15 a.m. Evans was lathering his face vigorously when Stephens brought in 2 small square tables and set them opposite each other in the narrow space between the bunk on the one side and one on the distempered stone wall. So Evans was lathering. Lathering means foaming. Okay. So he was foaming his face vigorously. Vigorously means briskly. So Evans was foaming his face briskly, hurriedly, when Stephens brought in two small square tables and set them opposite each other in the narrow space between the bunk on one side and on the other distempered stone wall. So he brought two chairs. Stephens brought two chairs, one for Evans and one for McLeary, and he placed the chairs both side of the bunk. The chairs were placed at the both sides of the Evans bunk. One for McLeary and one for Evans. The slightly less battered of which he placed in front of the table which stood nearer the cell door. So a slightly less battered means less broken, of which he placed in front of the table which stood nearer the cell door. So which was placed nearer the cell door. Jackson put in a brief final appearance. Behave yourself, lady. So lady means a boy, Laddy. So it is used for boy or man. So Jackson put in a brief final appearance. Behave yourself, lady. Evans turned and nodded. And these, Jackson pointed to the pin-ups. Then Jackson pointed to the pin-ups. There were pin-ups in the cell of Evans. So Jackson pointed on them and he said, and these of Evans turned and nodded again. So he asked them to take out all those pin-ups. So at this Evans nodded. Evans agreed. I was going to take them down anyway. He said, I am going to take those pin-ups down. A minister, isn't he? The chap coming to sit in, So he said the person who is coming to sit here, he is a minister. This is what Evans said. And how did you know that? Asked Jackson quietly. Jackson asked him how he had known it. Well, I had to sign some forms, didn't I? So Evans said he had to sign some form. So that is why he got to know. And I couldn't help. Evans drew the razor carefully down his left cheek. So Evans he was drawing the razor carefully down his left cheek and left a neat swath. Swath means a line, and he left a neat line in the white leather. Can I ask you something? Then he asked whether he could ask something. Mr. Jackson, why did they have to bug me in this cell? So he said, why they have spying me, why they spy me in this cell. He nodded his head vaguely to a point above the door. So he nodded his head, not clearly he was pointing above the door. Not a very neat job. At this Jackson said it is not a very neat job. Conceded Jackson. Conceded means confessed. Jackson confessed it's not a clean job, very clean job. They don't honestly think I am going to try to. They are taking no chances, Evans. He said they don't want to take any risk with you, Evans. So that is why all these arrangements are being made. Nobody in his senses would take any chance with you. Who is going to listen in? So Evans asked, who is going to listen in? I'll tell you who is going to listen in, laddie. So once again he said, I'll tell you, boy, who is going to listen in. It's the governor himself. See, he said the governor himself would be listening you. He don't trust you a bloody inch, nor I do. He said neither governor nor I do. He said in a sarcastic way, as he used bloody inch. He said neither governor nor he could believe Evans. I'll be watching you like a hawk. He said, I'll be watching you like a hawk. I will be keeping my eyes on you like a hawk. Evans, so keep your nose clear. So he said, so you should keep your nose clean. He walked towards the door. Keep your nose clean means keep your intention clean. Here, keep your nose clean means keep your intention clear. He walked towards the door. Evans nodded. He had already thought of that. And number 2 handkerchief was laying ready on the bunk, and his number 2 handkerchief was lying ready on the bunk, a nearly folded square of white linen. So this handkerchief was of white linen. Just one more thing, Einstein. So further Jackson said, one more thing. Yeah, what's that? Good luck, Olson. So he said, good luck, Olson. Once again he made a sarcastic comment. In the little lodge just inside the prison's main gates, the Reverend S. McCleary signed his name neatly in the visitor's book. So now McCleary has arrived Oxford prison. He signed in on the gate. He signed in the visitors book, and thence walked side by side with the silent prison officer across the exercise yard to do wing. So then he was following a prison officer quietly towards the wing, where he was greeted by Jackson. So when he reached the wing, he was greeted by Jackson. The wing's heavy outer door was unlocked behind them. So when he reached the gate was unlocked. Once he had entered, once again the gate was locked. The door was locked. The heavy inner door the same. And McCleary was handed into Stephen's keeping. So now McCleary was handed over to Stephen, means now Stephen had to guide him. Get the razor, murmured Jackson. Jackson murmured, get the razor. Stephen nodded. Will keep your eyes skinned clear. So will keep your eyes skinned means keep watching him carefully. Clear. Stephens nodded again, and McCleary, his feet clanging up the iron stairs. So when McCleary was going upstairs, so his feet was clanging up the iron stairs, followed his new guide. He was following his new guide, and Stephen was his new guide, and finally stood before a cell door. So now he reached before a cell door, where Stephens opened the peephole and looked through. So where Stephens opened the peephole and through which he looked inside. That's him, sir. And he told McCleary about Evans. Evans, facing the door, sat quietly at the farther of the two tables. So Evans, facing the door, he sat quietly at the end of the two tables, farther of the two tables, which was at the more distance. He sat there. His whole attention riveted to the textbook of elementary German grammar. So his whole attention fixed to a textbook of elementary German grammar. Stephens took the key from the ring and the cell lock sprang back with the thudded metallic twang. Stephens took the key from its ring and the cell lock sprang, and sprang means jumped. The cell lock jumped with a thudded means a sound of falling something, with a sound of metallic twang. Metallic twang means blows. Okay, so like something striking, something blowing, a sound of metallic blow came. Okay, so when he opened the lock of the cell, so this kind of sound could be heard. So okay dear students, I have explained till page number 75. So everyone please mark till here. In my next video I will explain a few more pages. So thank you for watching. See you tomorrow.